Howdy all, Molex Lives. I think so I play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright. Oh, we got some visitors coming around here, looks like. Where y'all coming from? I've been here a while. I knocked down this big antenna thing here. Get some metal out of it. Since I was so low on metal, I thought this would be a good spot to get a little bit. So, this week I got my Hero Quest board game. Came in yesterday. I haven't had a lot of time to do anything with it, but look at it. I didn't even look at it that carefully. It's nobody was going to be here yesterday, so I got up really early. It's not really early anymore. It's about the same time I've been getting up every day. And so I got up and picked up the house a bit and ran the vacuum, and then was like, well, what am I going to do now? So I found a show I hadn't seen on one of the streaming services, and I was watching that, and I was like, man, I'm so bored, and I got this new board game a couple weeks ago that we haven't played yet, based off the old Gargoyles cartoon. Screamer Central here today, man. No wonder I had all those zombies coming after me. Nope, one got through. Alright. Oh, you're still up. Guess we can treat it. So, I got out the Gargoyles game, and I started piecing it together because it's not got a lot of setup, but it is in pieces, and especially when you first open it, because it's got little buildings, because they're gargoyles, and they they live up on the rooftops, right? And um, And so, man, my gun is like, I just repaired this today. I'm already halfway down. It's a good thing I got a million of those things. And so they have like a little cityscape with, I don't know, handful of I already looted that place today. I looted that place today. A little handful of looks like there's another something out this way. I'll go check. Oh, actually, no, I guess I did. I was thinking I was on my way to unload into my chopper, but no. I should have brought a vehicle with me. It doesn't occur to me that I can pick them up again half the time. And so it'd been nice to fly over here and then drive around in the motorcycle and then, pick the motorcycle back up to fly home. Because I definitely hate this walking around stuff. I don't mind it in buildings, but the getting between places is ridiculous. So, yeah, so I set up the little buildings. There's like 5 or 6 of them, and then it said the first time you play, you want to do this specific mission because it's got like 4 different missions in it that you use as your initial setup before you play. And so then, so then, I opened the rule book after I get all that done, and I think I looked at the first 2 pages of the rule book, and then there was a knock on the door. And there was my Hero Quest game. So it was about 11, because I didn't know what time he was going to be there, and of course, they don't give you an estimate of what time it's going to be, and sometime before 8 p.m. That's your estimate. Like, come on, man, you can't tell me like you schedule out when things are supposed to be delivered. You can't give me a better estimate of when I should be aware because it, for me, I think you can search these. Yeah. For me, my office gaming area is in the basement. I often can't tell when someone's here. And so I definitely wouldn't be hearing a knock on the door for a requires a direct signature, which was nothing. Like he didn't have me sign anything. He just said, "You the guy?" Yes. All right, here's your package. That's not a direct signature. Don't give me that crap about needing a signature if you could just leave it at the house. Pretend he ain't been here 100 times already. Uh, but yeah. So I brought that in. I opened it up. I just opened the boxes. I didn't open the game itself. I just opened the cardboard box that it came in, set it out, and you know, sent a couple people snaps that I'd gotten it. Because this game is, something that we did growing up, and a lot. And so my one friend helped me paint some of the minis at one point. So I sent him a snapshot that, picture that I'd gotten it because I told him that I was probably going to get it Monday, because he might want to come over and play. And sent one to my sister and one to my brother, because they both were big fans of it back in the day. And then we mowed lawn for like 3 hours. Because it was super warm yesterday, and I thought it would be a good day to. Oh, no, this is backwards. I thought it'd be a good day to do my final mowing for the lawn. So I did that. And then I came in and worked. And then when everybody. In the evening, when everybody was home, then we took a little look inside. And yeah, it looks pretty good. All the minis are different than like they have new models for the minis, and some of the minis got changed. They don't have the same name anymore. I don't know if they have the same stats or not, but there are some changes on figures. A lot more stuff too, because like I got the mythic tier of the pre-buy. So I got the main game, I got the 2 expansion games that came out for it before in the United States, and then I got the mythic tier stuff, which is a bunch of new, 3 new books of missions, new heroes, and stuff like that. So it's very cool, very cool, and I'm excited to play it this weekend. I know the nephew said we'd have to pack up our other game we've been playing so we can start playing Hero Quest instead. Hero Quest is a much easier game than the one we've been playing. Oh, it's still locked. I broke it once, man. You can't let me in. Man, the other thing that's been going on this week, well, actually the last couple weeks, is listening to them talk about trying to buy a car, and I'm just like, the conversations I've had with them in the last 2 days. Okay, so if I was going to buy a car, obviously I want a car like the car I have, right? I like the car I have. I want a car like the car I have. Do I want the exact same car I have? Probably not. I'd want something newer. Or, um, and they don't make the car that I have anymore. So there's that too. It might be a little tricky to find the particular. Man, how much of this do I have to bust down? I should have just gone through the cement. I should still go through the cement. Sheesh. So yeah, so they have been talking about how much they hate car shopping for a couple weeks now. I hate car shopping, and then it's always like made an appointment, and I got over there, and they didn't have the car anymore, or made the talked to them, went over to test drive the car, and they told us the car wasn't ready to test drive, or saw the car. Didn't have time to stop back later, they'd sold the car. I'm just like, okay. And so then yesterday, or was it yesterday? Day before, they're like, found the car. I'm like, cool. Uh, and they're like, gonna go test drive it. Oh man, I could have just gone through a tunnel. Gonna go test drive it, and I'm like, all right. And so then yesterday, uh, yesterday they tell me um, found the car. I don't even know if it's the same car at this point. Found the car, talked to the guy, but because of the age of the car, the bank won't cover the entire price of the car, and they can't afford the down payment, which is half the price of the car. And I'm like, well, I mean, if it's the one you want, I can loan you the money. It ain't a big deal. It's not like we don't live in the same house, you know. It's whatever. And like, well, I mean, it's a lot of money. I'm like, well, I mean, it's just sitting in the bank, and it's not that much money. Don't don't think I'm like loaning them $10,000 or something like that. It's like a couple $1,000, and which is a lot of money, but it's not, an insane amount of money. And so they're like, oh, well, we'd have to have it for tomorrow. I'm like, well, I mean, we share a bank account because we share the household account. I can easily transfer money into that, and then you can transfer it out. We can do it at 2 in the morning tonight if we have to. It's not. It's not something amazing to move around a little bit of money like that. So he says, "Well, I don't know. I'll have to talk to my sister about it, and my sister, his wife." And so they go, or he goes. She's already gone to work at that point, and so then they all get home and they don't say anything, and so I'm like, okay, well, and then I'm like, you want to come down and check out the new Hero Quest thing, and so she comes down to look at that, and I'm like, so did you guys decide what's going on with that car? Do you need to borrow money? What's going on here? It's 10 o'clock at night now. It would be nice if I could know what's happening. Like, well, I mean, we'd have to have the money for tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, again, I can transfer that into the shared bank account quite easily. Um, and so I guess they decided no on that. She never did say one way or the other. And then I'm like, well, what kind of car are you even looking for? And so she gives me a list of things that it has to have. It has to have these things. And I'm like, all right. And so I jump on one of the car sites uh, and take a look and see if I tilted it up too far. I don't think it was necessary for you to go that far back down. Oop. And so I type in the things she says she has to have in her new vehicle. And a whole lot of cars come up. A whole lot of cars in their price range come up. And then once I start looking, I'm like, well, what about this one? And then she's like, well, I need, it's one of the cars I found looked like what she said she was looking for, but it didn't have split middle seating so that they didn't have to fold down seats for the kids to get in and out. Makes sense, right? That's a feature that you must have for this particular household, I guess. Sure. All right. So scratch that kind of car off the list. Not a big deal. Well, then I find other cars that are exactly what she said she was looking for. But you know what? They're the wrong color. So then I find the right color. Well, it's the wrong brand. Well, then I find one that's not the brand she said she couldn't have. Well, I've never heard of that before. Is it a good car? I'm like, well, it's got really good ratings on here. So, yes, it looks like it's a good car. Well, there's a lot of them for sale. I'm like, okay, we're on a car shopping site looking at a particular style of car. There's a lot of all these cars for sale. I don't know what you're saying. She's like, well, it might mean it's a bad car and everybody's trying to get rid of them. I'm like, okay, maybe, but it has good ratings on like how safety and repair and all that stuff. So I don't know what to tell you. And I'm like, but look at it. It's not the color you don't want. It's got the all-wheel drive you wanted. It's got the leather interior you wanted. It's got the split middle seats you wanted. It's got third row seating. It's got the fold down seat trunk thing like you had on your last one. It's got navigation. It's got the backup camera like the last one had. It's got the flip down DVD player like the last one had. I mean, this looks like it's in your price range. You wouldn't even need to borrow money for this. It's newer than the one you were looking at. It's I think it was a year older than the one they had. Um, I'm like, I think this might be your vehicle right here. Well, it's not the right brand. I'm like, what? Well, I mean, it's not the right brand. You mean you won't drive this brand? Because, I mean, there are people who won't drive specific brands of cars. No, it's just not one of the brands that I want. Like, okay. Is there a reason you want a specific brand? Because at this point, you've been shopping for 2 weeks for a car, and you can't find one that matches your old car exactly. I think you might have to settle for something that's just close. Just saying. Well, I don't want to do that. I want my old car. I'm like, well, can you find your old car for sale? Well, no. I'm like, well, uh, yes, it's the gyrocopter that I was pointed at. Can we just drive inside here? I just want to drive inside here. I mean, I guess we could back it in. Whatever. I just want to get closer. No, no, no. Nobody's trying to fly here. I just want to get closer to my base since it's full of stuff. Oop, you know what? You can keep the gas. Wow, I managed to hold everything except one thing. Let's fix that. I'll scrap those, and then you can give me that. And so I'm like, now you're just being crazy. I'm like, it's got everything that your old car had. She's like, well, it doesn't have sliding doors on the side. I'm like, sliding doors on the side was not a thing that you said you had to have. So you're just not wanting to buy a car, basically. And then it goes insane at that point. They've decided that they don't want to buy a car they're going to keep. They've decided they want to buy an in-between car. an in-between car that's not a car they're going to use very much. They want to buy a small car to drive around in. A small car. They want a minivan because basically there's five of us. Uh, and we're not tiny people. Uh, and I'm just like, what? Yeah, so we want to get like a small car to drive around until we can find the car, because nothing is reaching out to me and saying I'm the car. I'm like, this car is everything you had before right here that I'm showing you. It's everything that you said you had to have, and it's in your price range. Yeah, but it's not the Toyota Sienna I want. Well, there aren't any for sale in our area in your price range. Uh-oh. I need a new box. Guess I'll put them in the refrigerator. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you at this point. If you just are refusing, straight up refusing to pick out a new vehicle, which is what it sounds like, I guess that's your prerogative, but I don't want to hear any more about your car shopping. I don't want to listen. Uh, because you're not struggling to find a car that matches what you're looking for. You're just refusing to get a new car. And I don't know how you can continue forward with the current way we're doing things, knowing how much driving is going on, how much time you're wasting. Oh. So, uh, so then, one of the things that they said was they wanted to buy the car from a specific place, and so I went on that place's website and found another car that matched what they were looking for, but I don't think it was as nice as the other one. And I'm just like, no. She's like, no, I don't want that particular color. Okay, I can understand that. That's you got to look at the vehicle. You don't want a color you're not gonna like. That's fine. I can understand that. I mean, I understand being picky with what you're getting. I don't understand being this picky with what you're getting. Like if it was, we're not those kind of people to where a particular brand is the be all end all for us on things like this. I I mean I'm not, I guess, but apparently they are, and or they've at least become that way since they don't have a vehicle. Uh, and so I'm like, man. So I go upstairs today, and she's gone to work, and then the brother-in-law is sitting at the table, car shopping. He's like, man, I really hate this car shopping. And I'm like, dude, I went online. I found exactly what y'all were looking for last night. And he's like, yeah, but it was like, what, too old or too expensive? I'm like, no, it was like a year older than what you had and well within your price range. And so I told him what it was. And he's like, oh, well, that's not what we're looking for. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I only want I only want a car that's. I'm like, okay, first off, it's not for you. You know, it's not. It's not your car that's happening here. This is her car. I don't understand why it has to be that specific. It's not even a single brand. It's a range of brands, but because it's I cannot grasp. I want a Hyundai or a Nissan or a Honda or something like that. Okay, but this is like the car matching what you were looking for. Yeah, but it's not one of those brands. What do you mean? Why does it have to be one of those brands? Do you see any of those brands in what you're looking for? No. Well, then stop talking to me about it. Don't want to hear another story about how you can't find a car because both of you are just picking reasons not to get a vehicle. Like, I get it. They don't make decisions very well. But this isn't even not making a decision. This is looking for reasons to not. And yeah, that's driving me crazy. Uh, and the in between car thing. What the heck? We don't have enough money to put down for a down payment for this particular car. And then to find out that it's not even a car that they want to keep. They don't even have. What? We just want a little car to drive around in until we find the car. No, you look for the car. You don't buy another car that you're not gonna keep to drive around. Like, I get you might want a tiny little compact car because you liked a tiny compact car, but we're not tiny compact people. I'm over 6 feet tall. It's hard for me to get in vehicles. And B, you have two kids. You have given up tiny compact car. Just because you want it doesn't mean you can have it. Stop having a midlife crisis. Get the vehicle you need. Stop shopping for the wrong car. Or at least stop talking to me about shopping for the wrong car. Ugh, seriously. I was just dumbfounded. I'm like, look, I found your car last night, but it didn't have sliding doors, so obviously that's the wrong car. And he's like, oh, what was it? And I tell him, and he's like, oh, well, it wasn't a Nissan or a Hyundai or a Toyota. I'm like, and well, I only want to drive a car from this. Why? I don't know. I just only want to drive a car from that kind. What difference does it make? They all look alike, don't they? I mean, you're not shopping for a particular shape of car. You're not shopping for a particular color of car. Uh, like even the dealers can't find a car to match what they're looking for. Like they went to a dealership and they talked to the guy, and the guy said he'd look for a car for them matching what they were asking for, and he found a car that everything they wanted except it wasn't all-wheel drive. Now I get all-wheel drive is a big feature, and I can understand that, but it had everything else. Um, I don't think all-wheel drive is that big a feature for what they do. Uh, to be honest, but my sister thinks she has to have all-wheel drive, so that's. I doubt the vehicle they get that's the in-between car is going to have all-wheel drive. So even that makes her point moot. I don't just don't understand. I mean, I'm the guy who has the same car until the car no longer works because I'm not a car person. And I just like a car that's comfortable to sit in, and the rest of it I don't care that much about. I don't spend a lot of time in my car either. I mean, I used to back when I drove back and forth. Uh, I mean, I used to drive almost an hour one way to get to work. So I've spent time in my car, but I just want a car that was comfortable to sit in. I didn't care about anything else really. Like I would not pick the color of the car I have now. I just picked it because it was comfortable to sit in. So yeah, I don't get the whole being that picky. It's too picky. It's too picky. A few features, sure. All-wheel drive, yep. Leather seats, yep. Uh, don't want the car in white, sure. Uh, uh, third row seating, yep, got that. Split middle seats, yep, got that. All of that is perfectly reasonable to me. Then someone finds you the vehicle that you claim you want, and then you're like, nah, it doesn't have sliding doors, and it's not one of the 5 brands I'm willing to buy. I'm just like, what? That's no, no. Sliding doors is not a thing. I'm sorry. If you had a reason for it, sure, but as little as you use those sliding doors, because the old vehicle had remote opening side doors that would slide open. Uh, and so the problem is she just wants the previous vehicle that got totaled, but it got totaled, and there aren't any for sale anywhere near her price range. I honestly prefer just a regular door. It seems less of a hassle. And I mean, it's not my car though, so. Oh, look at all the cement I've got hanging out in here. But all right then, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. So be running small things, lean into the light. I will talk to you later.